It's time to get your coronavirus questions answered.
Dr. Zorba Paster is standing by. The number to call is 270-9933.
And we'll start with Valerie from Madison. Hi, Valerie. What's your question? Valerie, are you there? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I was talking to my sister this morning, and she had a friend there, and the friend received a phone call at the time she was visiting that the person she lives with tested positive for COVID. So she put a mask on, and my sister didn't have a mask on, but my sister said they were social distancing. And and the friend went to get a COVID test today. Mm-hmm. But my question is that I said that friend needed to go home and quarantine because she has a primary exposure.
Absolutely, 100%. That friend should go home, quarantine for 14 days, regardless of the test. The reason is the test is not 100%. She came into direct contact with someone with COVID. She should quarantine for 14 days. Now, for a person who's 1 degree away, I think I would look and depend upon the test. But I think your sister also ought to stay at home and quarantine, certainly until her test comes back, if she has indeed gotten a test. But yes, she's got to quarantine.
Let's go to Kathy in Madison. Hi, Kathy. What's your question? Is Kathy there?
You're both wearing a mask. Is it safe to have workers coming in and out of your house? I have to get a new mattress delivered next week, and I'm wondering if that's safe.
Well, that's a good question.
Well, by the way, that is a great question. So first of all, if you're getting anything delivered to your house, your goal is not to have people in your house if you can't. You've got to have a new mattress. That becomes a different issue. You certainly want to wear a mask, but you also want to make sure they're wearing a mask. So before they even come into the house, you want to greet them outside and make sure they're wearing masks. If they're not wearing masks, they're not coming into your house, and that becomes the issue. Then, of course, afterwards, you want to, wash your hands. You want to make sure there's no contact as much as possible. But for people who have to have something like that delivered to their house, it is an issue. Minimize that and minimize your contact with them. So make sure you stay at least 6 feet away from them when they're actually in your house. And if they're not wearing a mask, they're not delivering your mattress.
Yeah, I think most people are pretty good about it. Furnace people, and they know the rules. So
most is correct, yeah, but not all.
Let's go to Mac in Beloit. Hi, Mac. What's your question?
Yo, what's up, Doc? The word of mouth is we're always emphasizing about wearing masks, but somehow we lost touch about wearing the latex gloves. And what do we do normally when we cough? We cover our mouths with what? Our hands, without the gloves, or without hand sterilizer. Don't you think that brings in somewhat of a factor about the spread of the coronavirus? Simply just lost touch.
Well, first of all, when you cough now, you don't do what your mom said to cover with your hand. You cover with your elbow. That's important. And throughout the day, especially if you're sick, use hand sanitizer, something of that nature. We were at the beginning recommending latex gloves. Now it means that's not really as important as we thought. But of course, if you're in a situation where you're anxious, you're nervous, or you may possibly get infected, wear those gloves, take them off correctly. But I think hand sanitizer throughout the day is the way to go.
I always put on gloves when I pump gas.
Mm-hmm, that's a good idea.
Yeah, when you pump gas. Yeah, good idea. Actually, that is a great idea because of all the things I touch when I think about it that other people have touched, it's pumping gas. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we don't think about using hand sanitizer, but that's a great time to wear gloves.
Let's go to Mary in Madison. Hi, Mary. What's your question?
Hi, Dr. Zorba. Well, my question is, okay, I wear a mask to protect others, but when I'm in the store, I'm wondering, should I be wearing one of these face shields besides?
Wearing a face shield will definitely be better than wearing a mask. There's no doubt about that. If you've got any medical problems, such as especially an autoimmune disease or in chemotherapy, you want to get somebody else to actually go to the store for you. You don't want to actually go in there. But face shields are superior to masks. Pick a time you're going to go into that store if you have to when there are not a lot of people. Maybe just when the store opens in the middle of the morning, if it's a grocery store, at noon or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock when there are fewer people. Or once again, if you're anxious or you've got medical problems, have somebody else do that for you or use their delivery service.
I go to the senior hour.
Thank you.
Right, the senior hour. Great idea.
All right, Dan in Sun Prairie. Hi, Dan. Dan, you there?
Yes, I am.
What's your question?
My question is that I have heard and read recently that those that have had and experienced COVID-19, that one of the after effects is that they experience hallucinations. And I was wondering if the doctor had heard about that and or could comment on that.
Yeah, I haven't actually read or heard that they get hallucinations. I do know there seems to be a COVID fog where people feel like they're just not up to snuff. They're not able to do things. And some people are terribly disabled by that. I've not read or heard about hallucinations itself, so be hard to comment. Once again, it's an unusual virus. It's a strange virus. It is not stopping. It's continuing. It is the major terrorist, not only of our society, but of the entire world.
Let's go to Terry in McFarland. Hi, Terry. What's your question?
Hi, I have a question. When my husband and I go walking outside on walkways or sidewalks, and we see somebody coming towards us, we always move 6 or 7 feet away. But when we see somebody coming from behind us, I don't see them until they're about 2 feet from us. Is that a danger? Should we just be wearing masks outside at all?
Well, if you wear masks outside, especially during this time when Wisconsin is a hot spot, you are going to be better off. And this was brought up to me today at the dog park, because we were at the dog park walking our dog, and I thought, it's outside, we stay away from people. But then we realized we were closer to people than we ever thought, and so I think wearing a mask gives you that extra layer of protection. And the answer is yes. Coming from behind, right? You don't see people coming from behind you at all. You're certainly not going to put on a bicycle helmet and look behind you all the time. But the answer is, yeah, wear a mask. Right now, we're in a hot spot. We are in a pandemic, and Wisconsin is a hot spot in the U.S.
All right, we have to leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. Zorba, thank you for your time. We'll see you next week.
Great to see you, Zorba. Thanks so much. Great questions, everybody. Thank you for calling.
Final check of your forecast coming up.